Okay, back to the nonlinear systems of equations. Remember, we just need one system that's not linear. Okay. Couple different ways we could do this. I'm going to go ahead and use substitution. So I am going to solve for y. I'm going to add y to both sides and get x equals y minus 1. And then I'm going to add the 1 to both sides. X plus 1 equals y. I am going to take this and I'm going to plug it in here for y. Remember that y has to be exactly the same in both equations. So if y equals x plus 1 in the second equation, it's got to equal y plus 1 in the, or sorry, if it equals y plus 1 in the, if y equals x plus 1 in the first equation, it has got to equal x plus 1 in the second. Holy moly, x squared plus 1. So I get x plus 1 equals x squared plus 1. We have a quadratic, so we want everything on the same side. This needs to be equal 0. Okay. So I got x squared minus x. I cannot combine those. And then I have plus 1 minus 1. So I can factor this into x times x minus 1. And I get x equals 0 or x equals 1. We've solved for x. We still need y. So let's see if we can keep these separated. I'm going to take the x equals 0, and I am going to plug it in here. So when x equals 0, y equals 1. Then I'm going to go ahead and do this again with the x equals 1. When x equals 1, y equals 2. So we have two different solutions, which makes sense. That second equation is a parabola. The first one is a line. It is going to intersect in at most 2 places. Okay. So let's take a look at the second one. That x squared plus y squared equals 10, that's a circle. And then we got x minus 3y equals negative 10. So I am going to go ahead, add 3y to both sides, and get x equals 3y plus 10. This is the x I'm going to substitute in my first equation. This one's a little different because when I substitute in that x, I have to square it. And then I have to remember, let's write that out here. The one thing that we tend to forget is I cannot just square the first term and the second term. I got to multiply my first 2 terms, my 2 outside terms, my 2 inside terms, my 2 last terms. So I get 9y squared plus 60y plus 100. Keep in mind that's just this part. So I got plus y squared here equals 10. I need to combine like terms and get everything on the same side. So I'm combining my 9y squared and my y squared to give me a 10y squared. I have plus 60y and plus 100 minus 10 plus 90. Right? Got to subtract the 10 on both sides so that we get everything on the same side. I'd rather not work with super large numbers, so I am going to divide out the 10. And this one is squared, y plus 3 quantity squared, so I only have one y. Y equals negative 3. Okay. I am going to plug that in. Back up here so we can solve for x. And I'm going to do that over here just to try to keep everything. I got x equals 3 times y is negative 3 plus 10. X equals negative 9 plus 10, so x equals 1. Again, it doesn't really matter which variable we solved for first. Y still goes second, x still goes first. So here's our solution. This circle and this line intersect in only one point, and that point is 1, negative 3.